Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately today we are gathered here to talk about my latest perfume fail. Yes, Rayhaan's new Tonking Giza is going to be a hard no for me. Tonking Giza is inspired by Guerlain's Tonka Sarrapia. Guerlain is my favorite fragrance house. I really feel like they are unmatched in what they do. I went on a blind buying spree. To be honest with you guys, I sample a lot, but I also blind buy a lot. I think I like the thrill of the potential heartbreak and disappointment. So after I blind bought Vanilla Planifolia and it instantly became my favorite vanilla of all time, I was on a high and I decided to follow that up and blind buy Tonka Sarrapia because oftentimes Tonka and vanilla go together very, very well in fragrance. I love gourmand and I was just very, very curious to see what Guerlain's interpretation of a Tonka focused fragrance is, because even if you hate a note, if Guerlain is making a fragrance around that note, you should try it because they really do things different from everybody else. So I blind bought Tonka Sarrapia and I tried so hard to love this fragrance, but I couldn't. On me, it really smelled just like root beer, a spicy Dr. Pepper root beer Coca-Cola perfume. Not the kind of almondy goodness that I was hoping for, that you smell like a Bianco Lotto or something with that kind of coumarin. And I ended up just selling it to Daniel Rene. Shout out to Daniel Rene for taking that off my hands, saved me a lot of money. That's a very expensive perfume and Guerlain does not take refunds. So I'm very grateful that he wanted to buy it off of me for his own collection. So I say all that to explain that I knew that Rayhaan's Tonking Giza was inspired by Tonka Sarrapia. So why the hell did I then get a fragrance that is inspired by something that I already had to sell because I didn't like it? It's because I was hearing a lot in reviews that this was a better, not in terms of quality, but more so in terms of like mass appealing version of Tonka Sarrapia. Because Tonka Sarrapia is very intense with that root beer thing going on. So I thought that this would be like a toned down version of that DNA. And because it's so affordable, I felt like it wasn't really a big risk to try it and see if it would work for me. And I will say that this definitely is toned down and smoother than the original Tonka Sarrapia. Like the Coca-Cola and root beer smell is still there. I think that just really is just Tonka. I've had to come to accept that a Tonka focused fragrance is going to smell like that, most likely, at least from pretty much every fragrance house that I've smelled. But it is toned down and smoother. And I do think that the way that they've done the Tonka is a lot more tolerable to my nose than the original. And I honestly think I could have worn this fragrance if it wasn't for one thing that ruins it for me. I mean, try to figure out how to say this without coming across offensive to our Middle Eastern fragrances and brands. Oftentimes, not always, but a lot of times when I smell some fragrances that are made by Middle Eastern brands, they have this extra type of spiced smell to me, like an extra smokiness or an extra incense or spice. And sometimes I like or I don't mind the extra addition of this type of spice. And other times it's too much and it almost ruins the fragrance for me, or in this case, absolutely ruins the fragrance for me. For example, one of my all-time favorite Lattafa fragrances used to be in my top 3 until it was recently replaced by one of their newer releases. Ethery is inspired by Gucci Gorgeous Orchid. Now, I love Ethery, like I love it down. It is a heavier, denser, more syrupy version than the original, but there is also something in Ethery. There's this extra spice, this extra something. It's that extra like Middle Eastern note that I can smell in a lot of their fragrances, but in Ethery, it doesn't bother me. I actually quite like it. I feel like it makes it feel a little bit more rich, not as just safe, fruity, floral as some others. Like I feel like it enhances it and it's not too much. It's just a little extra, but believe it or not, I have also heard other people comment that they can smell it too and they don't like it. So it depends on who you are and how sensitive you may or may not be to this. But in Ethery, I love it. But going back to Tonking Giza, in this one, I don't like it. The best way I can describe it is it smells like when I go to gas stations and I go towards the incense section, that incensey smell is what this reminds me of, and it's too much. It's very prominent, and with the way that it's blended with all the other notes in this fragrance, it stinks to me. Like it comes across like a funk. In the air, on skin, on paper, I can detect it and I cannot get past it. Of course, my usual crazy test, I had to ask my husband because I thought, it's you're being dramatic, but I asked him and he was like, no, I see what you're talking about. There's something there that's like underneath all of the other notes. It's not horrible, but it's definitely there. So because of that, I cannot wear this fragrance. But if that particular extra note or whatever that is was not in it, I would agree with a lot of the other people who are reviewing this fragrance who say that it is, I think, a more mass appealing wearable version than the original Tonka Sarrapia. If, this is the important part, if you are someone like me who did not like Tonka Sarrapia, who thought that it was a little bit too much, a little bit too Coca-Cola, a little bit too strong, then I can see you finding the Tonking Giza more tolerable. But if you're someone who Tonka Sarrapia is your jam, that's like one of your holy grail, one of your best favorite scents, I don't think that you're going to love this fragrance, because it is definitely going to pale in comparison in terms of the intensity and the strength and just the, you know, Guerlain quality that you smell from that Tonka Sarrapia. I don't think this will replace it for you, but it might be a more affordable option that you would enjoy if you're okay with that potential extra Middle Eastern spice. You may not even pick it up, and because it is so much more affordable than the original, it might still be worth a try. So it is going to be a hard pass for me, but it's not because I think it's a disgusting, horrible scent. I can absolutely understand why a lot of people like it. It's just, I can't get past that extra note, and I don't love root beer Coca-Cola smells enough to be able to get over it. And I don't think that it interacts well with the Coca-Cola root beer DNA to me personally. Now, in terms of projection and longevity, unfortunately for me, this does last a long time. I have never wanted a fragrance to disappear quicker than this one. I got at least 7.5 hours with this one with, I would say, moderate to strong projection. So again, if you're looking for an affordable Tonka focused fragrance and you don't feel like you pick up extra Middle Eastern spicy notes in fragrances, then it might be a really nice affordable option to add to your collection from the house of Rayhaan. So let me know, guys, if you have tried the original Tonka Sarrapia by Guerlain, or if you plan to try this, and if so, what are your thoughts? And I'll see you guys back tomorrow for our next episode.